Top Gun, Maverick. Yes, it's one of the best action movies of the year, but does that mean Top Gun Maverick is some kind of incredible achievement in filmmaking? That's very debatable. The problem here is that Maverick is perceived as something extraordinary, mostly because the competition is, well, it's not really there. High budget Hollywood action movies mostly degrade to a state when you have an incoherent plot which takes a backseat to open attempts of indoctrinating the audience into the tenets of neo Marxism. And any sequel is expected to destroy and humiliate the beloved characters for the glory of the woke gods. Marvel Cinematic Universe is an obvious example here. It finally reached the point when it became an actual multiverse of madness. I mean, not the title of the movie, but all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is the multiverse of madness now. So, given the current state of affairs, an old school movie with a solid, high profile movie star, competent execution, and a respect for the source material becomes an instant sensation and grosses $1.5 billion at the box office. Half of that money is coming from outside of the US, which is interesting considering that Top Gun kind of glorifies the army of one particular country. And in fact, is a sequel to a film that was an important propaganda piece that helped the US Navy with recruitment back in the day. Now, the plot of Top Gun Maverick. 30 something years after the original movie, the character of Maverick, played obviously by our favorite Scientologist, is a test pilot. He's asked to return to Top Gun school to instruct graduates and prepare them for a more or less suicidal mission. Instead of destroying civilian infrastructure, the US military is planning to attack a uranium enrichment facility for a change. The facility is run apparently by the same unnamed enemy from the first movie. Since this enemy has stars on the MiG and Su aircrafts, and they probably speak either a Slavic language or quite possibly Chinese, or both, you might come to a conclusion that Tom Cruise is actually fighting the good guys, and the reasons for this act of terror were fabricated. Anyway, eventually Tom Cruise defeats everybody and they all live happily ever after. Well, except for the good guys at the uranium enrichment facility. So, yes, Top Gun, as before, is glamorizing the American military. That's normal for the Hollywood production, that's absolutely understandable and logical. People don't even pay attention, but it makes sense to mention this. Obviously, the American army is the good guys, and obviously, at least 7.5 billion people would disagree with this idea. And it is especially weird that these people also regard Top Gun, once again, a propaganda movie, much more tolerable than current Marvel/Disney films. Because, first of all, Top Gun Maverick is a well crafted work. And second, even if you don't share their sentiment about the US military, at least you understand where they are coming from. They are being more or less reasonably patriotic, and they tell you stories of courage, friendship, and doing your job properly, and military operations against foreign countries without declaring war. While Disney style propaganda tries to fry your brain with insane ideological schemes and teach you a couple of lessons that will ruin your life if you decide to follow them. That's the difference between these two branches of essentially propaganda movies masquerading as nice and relatively brainless action movies. And that is why Top Gun Maverick is enjoyed all over the world and hailed as a refreshingly normal and refreshingly competent action flick. Even if it shows you that it is possible to down a top of the line military plane using an old F 14, which is like downing a F 14 on a crop duster. Or even if we were dealing with a sequel that nobody expected and never really needed. Like, do you need a sequel of Days of Thunder? And if yes, then why? The only understandable answer to this question can be Tom Cruise. We must give credit where credit is due. This man is 60 years old and he's absolutely incredible as a traditional action hero. And now, after Top Gun Maverick, we know that we need more of that. So, what have we learned from Top Gun Maverick? America. Yeah. Military operations on foreign territory is okay. You can destroy a modern stealth fighter on a F 14. US Navy personnel is well paid. Join now. Tom Cruise is a beast. In the end, if you can ignore the fact that Tom Cruise is flying American airplanes laughing at international law, it is a surprisingly enjoyable upgrade of the 80s action movie.